One of the great things about the classic Sonic games is seeing all the obstacles and gimmicks the designers threw into the levels that Sonic can interact with. The classic Sonic games had perfect physics, and it was always fun to experiment and see what Sonic could do. Sonic 1 had a few little things like the seesaws in Spring Yard Zone, but things really picked up in Sonic 2. There, you'll find, for example, the giant screws and nuts in Metropolis Zone that Sonic can use to ascend and descend certain sections of the zone. The nuts are a small addition, but they're a little stroke of genius. Visually, they fit with the industrial metallic feel of the zone, and functionally they work exactly as you'd expect. Run to the right to turn the nut one way and rise, run to the left to turn it the other way and fall. They also add a unique challenge, as Sonic is left especially vulnerable to enemy attacks while on one of these things. Sonic 2 also introduced the flippers in Carnival Night Zone. Again, they fit with the casino theme of the zone, but it's not immediately obvious how the flippers can be used by Sonic. When Sonic jumps on one and presses jump again, the flipper will shoot him off. In that brief moment, the player actually controls the flipper rather than Sonic. It's a little odd to think about, but it's not an egregious moment. Sonic was designed to be a simple game with one button to control the entirety of Sonic's repertoire of moves. The player is likely to try to jump off the flipper as soon as they've jumped on and thus discover how to use the flippers quite quickly. Now, let's talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. To be clear, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is in my Mount Rushmore of favourite games. It's absolutely brilliant, and I love it. But I'm willing to admit that some of the gimmicks got a little weirder in execution. Take the spinning top in Marble Garden Zone, for example. They look a little bit weird, and maybe out of place, and don't exactly match the ancient ruins aesthetic of the zone. But Sonic is essentially a fantastical game, so that complaint can be hand-waved away. How the spinning top controls is less intuitive than other gimmicks, however, and requires a little practice to get used to. And the fact that it can be used to smash through walls and floors isn't communicated to the player particularly well either. There's no mini tutorial for how to use the spinning top, and visually, they don't really look like they could destroy the surroundings. Ultimately though, the spinners do respawn when used, so a little bit of trial and error should suffice to get comfortable using them. In short, some gimmicks are better than others in classic Sonic games. That brings me on to the main topic at hand. Carnival Night Zone has a lot of fun gimmicks. There are cannons that fire Sonic into the air, balloons that pop and give Sonic a boost, and then there are the drums, or barrels if you will. There are actually two kinds of barrels in Carnival Night Zone. Some move left to right or up and down on a fixed route, and don't react when jumped on by Sonic. They're obstacles that need to be traversed primarily, or platforms to get from A to B. Some barrels, however, do seem to react when jumped on by Sonic, suggesting that, just like the seesaw I mentioned earlier, you can jump on these things to make them descend, and use the extra momentum of a rising barrel to reach higher heights when you jump off. Simple, right? Well, no, as it turns out. There's lots of these bouncy barrels scattered through most of Act 2. A lot of them are just kind of there, and can be played with or safely ignored. They're usually in relatively confined spaces, so your instinct will be to jump on them and enjoy a little bit of extra height when you jump off, and that's about it. There is one area in Act 2 when two barrels, one after another, can be used to help you reach greater heights. It's just about possible as Super Sonic, Tails, or with the right power-up, to traverse these two barrels simply by jumping on them. Curiously though, if you're playing with Sonic and you have no power-ups, it kind of seems like you can't reach that extra ledge that the second barrel teases. Ultimately, this particular set piece represents just one of many routes through the levels, so it can be avoided if it proves a little bit tricky. Towards the end of the act though, you'll be locked in a room with a barrel and asked to get out. The question is, how? Well, the passage out can be seen below the barrel, so having come to the prior conclusion that I can jump on and off these things to build some momentum, That's what I always assumed you had to do. Jump on and off until the barrel sinks low enough for you to sneak through. But, try as I might, that strategy simply doesn't work here. Some people have suggested this strategy can work, and I have a theory about that I'll share in a short while, but I've tried and I just can't get through simply by jumping. As a kid, this little puzzle was the bane of my existence, a moment I always dreaded, and it appears I wasn't alone. The internet is awash with anecdotes of people struggling to get past this damn barrel. Why is it so hard? What's going on? How many people got timeouts trying to get through this bit? Well, the secret is this. All you need to do to control the barrel is hop on, and then use the up and down buttons on the D-pad to make the barrel go up and down. It's what I call the D-pad technique. It's literally that simple. And when you know the trick, you can breeze past this room in a matter of seconds. It becomes trivial. When I first heard this trick, it blew my mind and made me a little bit miffed. I've seen many naysayers suggest that this room is easy and question why, after being stuck for so long, players wouldn't experiment and eventually stumble upon the correct solution to escape. Well, let me try and explain. I think that pressing up and down to move the barrel is actually counterintuitive and goes against everything that veteran Sonic players have been taught about Sonic games up until this point. Getting on the barrel and using the D-pad actually gives the player less initial feedback than simply jumping on the barrel. Jumping on the barrel looks like it should work, if only you can find the right rhythm. So why give up and try something else? It's excruciating. Using the D-pad technique, on the other hand, has a negligible effect on your momentum at first, which you might not even notice. So, on the contrary, why continue trying that method? The real problem with this section is that it's the only prolonged instance in any of the classic games in which you totally give up control of Sonic in favour of controlling something else, as far as I'm aware. In this moment, you're being asked to take control of the barrel, not Sonic. It's weird, and it just doesn't feel right. To make matters worse, Sonic doesn't react at all to your D-pad button strokes when he's on the barrel, which again is a little discouraging. Virtually every other major obstacle and gimmick in the classic game relies on jumps, running, or a spin dash. They rely on you using moves that you've become accustomed to at this point. The barrel is the ultimate outlier. Now the question is, if I never figured out the correct method of getting past the barrel, how on earth did I get past Carnival Night Zone as a kid? Well, level select mode was an option, as was playing as Knuckles, who doesn't have to do this particular puzzle. The truth is though, I was able to get past the barrel every now and then, and I think it's because, in a state of frustration, I was probably unwittingly pushing up and down on the D-pad while trying to get through via my jumping method, thus nudging the barrel down just enough to get through, but not enough for me to notice that it was the D-pad and not my jumping that gave the barrel the extra inch or two. Razor and Xenon made me aware of a few other ways to sneak through. It's possible to get through by using a bubble shield to elevate the barrel higher than usual and sneak under it. It's also possible to glitch your way through and transform into supersonic or hypersonic while the barrel is in motion, allowing you to drop right through it. Or, how about this simple trick? Playing as Sonic and Tails, it's possible to fly above the barrel and then drop down, glitching through the barrel again. They also explain that it's possible to bypass the barrel altogether, but you should check out their video on the topic if you want to see how. It's quite interesting. A great debate has raged for decades as to whether people who couldn't figure out this barrel are a bunch of idiots, or whether it is actually a slice of poor level design. I'd opt for the latter, but I have a couple of reasons to back this opinion up. For starters, Sonic Jam, a Sega Saturn compilation game that released a few years after Sonic 3, includes an easy mode for all the classic games. Sonic 3's easy mode removes this obstacle entirely. Even more compellingly, at the Summer of Sonic 2011 event, Yuji Naka and Takashi Iizuka were asked about the Barrel of Doom during a Q&A event. Yuji Naka took responsibility for programming the level and actually apologized for the barrel.
So I presume those people found that level quite difficult to understand. And I would actually be the person responsible for programming that level, so I am extremely sorry. Thank you.
I'd say both of these points suggest that Sega have come to terms with the idea that the barrel was a bit of a mistake. One final oddity is the fact that the solution to getting past the barrel was a bit of a secret in the 1990s. I had a look at some contemporary guidebooks for the game from the time, and in some, tips for the barrel were non-existent. I checked the guide printed in the pages of the British Sonic the Comic and nada. Nothing specific about the barrel. I was able to find a couple of YouTube videos that show off a few guides. One of them, the official Sonic 3 gameplay guide, does actually advise to use the pushing up and down method, but another official Sega guidebook, Supersonic Tips for Sega Maniacs, offers zero guidance for the barrel. Some earlier guides on game FAQs don't mention how to get past the barrel either. Surely, clearly outlining the D-pad technique should be explicitly mentioned in any and all guides for the game, right? The Barrel of Doom has quite an interesting legacy beyond Sonic 3. In Sonic Advance from 2001, for example, Casino Paradise Zone also has some barrels. Fortunately though, in Sonic Advance, you don't get locked in a room with one, so you can safely avoid them. In Shadow the Hedgehog from 2005, floating drums that look a lot like the Carnival Night Zone ones appear in Circus Park, though they function as normal platforms with no shenanigans. Incidentally, Carnival Night Zone and Circus Park also have a musical link, as they both have melodies borrowed from Julius Fusik's classical piece, Entrance of the Gladiators. In 2014, the Barrel of Doom officially appeared in issue 67 of Archie's Sonic Universe comic, where it's blown up by E123 Omega when he was passing through Carnival Night Zone. All I can say is, thank you for that. In 2016, the LEGO Dimensions Sonic Level Pack released and the barrel gets more than one shoutout. For example, Sonic jokes about the Carnival Night barrel when he jumps on certain obstacles.
This isn't gonna be like that bouncing barrel in Carnival Night Zone, is it?
It also appears in the Marble Zone and Carnival Night Zone sections of the game, and Omochow says this about the barrel.
The ancient civilization that once lived in the Carnival Night Zone called these things barrels of doom. Be careful, they sound dangerous.
I know it's a tongue-in-cheek explanation, but rather than Carnival Night Zone being ancient, I always liked Fleetway's interpretation of the zone as a moneymaker for Dr. Robotnik, supervised by the villainous trio known as the Marxio Brothers, and containing theme park rides like a ghost train. In the comics, the zone was built while Knuckles was absent from the floating island. Knuckles originally returned and got a kick out of Carnival Night Zone before realizing that the Mario Brothers rip-offs were baddies and changed his mind, destroying the zone entirely and knocking it off the floating island. Anyway, LEGO Dimensions. It's the first time the Barrel of Doom name has been referenced by Sega. It's a name that was readily adopted and used frequently by fans to describe this very specific obstacle. I always wondered, who gave us that name? The earliest result that I could find for Barrel of Doom, using my Google Foo, was a forum post made by Dr. Ksoft on Sega16.com from 2008. Thanks, dude. Finally, in 2019, Sega released a Barrel of Doom mug, so if you want to be reminded of bad childhood memories while drinking your beverage of choice, consider buying it. And that is just about everything I have to say about the dreaded Barrel of Doom, the hardest enemy in any Sonic game. Please do let me know your opinions on the barrel in the comments. Were you one of the chosen people who managed to figure it out? Did you get through by jumping or using the supersonic method or something else entirely? I'd love for us to share our experiences, almost like a little Sonic therapy group or something. We'll work through our Carnival Night Zone issues together. But for now, thanks for watching and hopefully, I'll see you next time.